Alrighty. Let's see. Can you hear me? Test 1, 2, 3.
Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3.
All right, welcome MLB Pro to a impromptu, pretty sober edition of the JabsCast. I'm your host, Justin Jabs, GM of the Chicago Cubs. It's been quite a while since I've gotten involved with something like this. Mostly been leaving the podcasting to our anonymous GM friend, as well as Mr. Breton of the Atlanta Braves, but I don't know. I got out of work today, got home before 5 o'clock, which was fantastic, especially when you factor in Bay Area traffic. And I miss you guys, so I decided to hop on here and chat a little bit. The opening today was Aerosmith, Pink, from their Greatest Hits album, and obviously another album it started on until it became a greatest hit. I'm not super hardcore in the Aerosmith, so I don't know which album that is. Anyway... I am drinking a Mother Earth Brewing Company Cali Creamin' Vanilla Cream Ale, 5% ABV. Discovered this about a year ago from one of my buddies. For anyone who's spent time in Wisconsin, there's a beer called Spotted Cow, which is a cream ale that folks really enjoy. And I would argue that Cali Creamin' is even better than that. It's much creamier and not in like a bad way, though. You know, people talk about like fruit beers and them being too fruity and stuff. Like this is just a good level amount of cream. Anyway, we are going to kick things off today with a special trade announcement. This is breaking news. Anonymous GM is sleeping right now, so we're going to break this breaking news here on the JabsCast. We have what is being described as a mega deal between the Washington Nationals and the Toronto Blue Jays. Washington Nationals and Toronto Blue Jays. The deal is we've got Reimer Liriano and Swanson and Hernandez from the Toronto Blue Jays heading to the Washington Nationals for Villette and Rogers. Now, these seem like pretty good players. I'm going to have to look these up because I am not 100% familiar with these players, but that's not why you're here. You're here to just hear me talk for a little bit. So, Reimer Liriano is an outfielder. We've got Cole Swanson, a 26-year-old starting pitcher. He's probably the big deal, or this is the big get in this deal, I would say. The Hernandez is really wish my source would have thrown me a couple of first name bones here. All right. Adrian Hernandez. Adrian Hernandez is a first baseman, big power bat down in high A for the Blue Jays. And going the other way is Edwin Rogers, who is moving from the Washington Nationals. He's a center fielder, 27 years old, split time between AAA and the majors last year. And then that final piece from the Nationals going to the Toronto Blue Jays is Raynel Villette. Raynel Villette. So Reimer Liriano, Cole Swanson, Adrian Hernandez for Edwin Rogers and Raynel Villette. So we'll take a minute here and just kind of break down each of these players for those of you who might be listening on the commute home and are unable to look up these players yourself. So Reimer Liriano, 27 years old, 5 years in the league, making $11 million this year. Recently acquired by the Toronto Blue Jays a couple short months ago in the Jacob Realmuto, Eric Hosmer trade, coming over from the San Diego Padres. Reimer has spent his entire MLB career with the Padres. Came up in 2015. Hit a blistering 326 in about 150 or so plate appearances. Has bounced around in the batting average category, but in terms of what actually matters, he's an above average bat. Had his best season of his career this last year. Played 161 games, which that's tough to do now. Hit 35 home runs and put up 4.5 wins. Reimer Liriano, a very, very nice left fielder. Cole Swanson, as I mentioned before, he just kind of jumps off the page for me. A lot of these mid-20s guys in this deal, which is why it's so big. Cole Swanson last year split time between Kansas City and the Blue Jays. More time with the Blue Jays, had an ERA in the very low fours, 3.1 wins above replacement. Great changeup, 75 grade changeup. In talking to scouts, he's a guy who really mixes up his pitch as well. He relies on that changeup as an out pitch, but he has a nice fastball, a sinker, and a curve that all kind of play off each other. He's ARB eligible for the first time this year, making $3.5 million. Again, also acquired within this past year in the Brandon Hicks trade from the Royals. And Adrian Hernandez, he's the young guy in here. Definitely not in the majors. Like I said, he's in high A. Big power potential. He in a future world, grades out as maybe definitely at least a 30 homer guy. Adrian plays first base, not much defensive versatility there. Not really a hard worker. Right now, he kind of plays more off of his power, but in last year in the minor leagues had 9 home runs, but a pretty decent slugging percentage between single A and high A. A pretty nice package going from the Blue Jays over to the Nationals. Let's take a deeper dive of what the Washington Nationals are sending. Edwin Rogers, center field. He's a center fielder on paper, but just like Reimer, he's probably a little bit more of a left fielder in my book. Kind of a similar similar scouting report to Reimer, although he has certainly not put up the numbers like Reimer has. He's ARB eligible, making $2.5 million this year. Bounced between AAA and the majors last year after spending all of 2017, pardon me, in the major leagues. Hasn't really done too much. He's a big doubles guy, strikes out a little bit. There's some potential there. He is 27 years old, so it's starting to be towards the put up or shut up time for Edwin Rogers. And then the final piece, Mr. Villette. Let's see, Raynell. Here we go. Raynell Villette, right-hander, 27 years old. He is signed until the 2021 season on a very, very team-friendly deal, which was signed before 2017. Right now, he is rehabbing a torn UCL. So last year, great campaign for the Nationals. He was having a pretty damn good season. 29 starts, 2.75 ERA, 8 strikeouts per 9, not a whole lot of walks. Tore his UCL there in September, a few months after his All-Star game appearance. So he is still going to be out for 6 more months. He can start rehabbing in June. If I was a Blue Jays fan, I would probably bank on maybe August, like August 1st. If I was buying a Blue Jays ticket, and I guess he's a starting pitcher, so it's no guarantee you're going to see him anyway. But right around August is when we might be able to see him back in the major leagues. The injury was a tough go. He's been a stud for the Nationals, very healthy ever since he joined the major league squad. 30 starts, 200 innings, 210 innings back in 2016. You add up his WAR for the past few years. Let's see, 5.8. He's got 6 wins in 2016, 4.5 wins the last 2 seasons. This dude is a stud, and if he can make it back from that